Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. The tension between Terry McLaurin and the Washington Commanders has escalated to an alarming degree, igniting the worst fears among fans who had hoped for a smooth contract extension. In recent statements, General Manager Adam Peters attempted to instill a sense of calm regarding the ongoing contract negotiations with the star wide receiver. However, McLaurin's recent actions have told a much different story, one filled with frustration and escalating discontent. The absence of McLaurin at the team's physicals on the first day of training camp, as confirmed by multiple insiders including NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, signals a brewing standoff that could have profound consequences for the Commanders. This no-show strongly suggests that McLaurin may also skip the initial practice sessions, a move that sends a loud message about his unhappiness and the depth of the impasse. This situation is a far cry from the cooperative relationship both sides publicly hope to maintain. The root of the problem lies in McLaurin's growing frustration over contract negotiations that have stalled since the offseason, despite initial optimism. Although Peters disclosed that talks had resumed recently, the wide receiver clearly feels disrespected and undervalued by the organization, pushing him toward more drastic measures. As a former third-round pick out of Ohio State, who has blossomed into a cornerstone player for the franchise, McLaurin believes he deserves a contract that reflects his contributions on the field. His absence from training camp is arguably the latest and boldest move in what seems to be a strategic effort to force the Commanders' hand. This scenario is realistic but undeniably risky, revealing the gulf between McLaurin's demands and the team's current stance, which is firm but cautious given financial considerations. And McLaurin's age, the Commanders' front office has indicated a willingness to pay McLaurin but balks at the $30 million plus per season that the receivers' camp reportedly seeks, especially considering McLaurin will turn 30 this September. This financial hesitation is understandable from a management perspective, as teams must balance short-term performance with long-term sustainability. Yet, the clock is ticking fast. The Commanders are preparing for what could be a pivotal 2025 season, one where they hope to build on recent success and push deeper into the playoffs. Jayden Daniels, the team's young quarterback, desperately needs McLaurin's presence as his go-to weapon, and the locker room relies heavily on McLaurin's leadership and inspirational qualities. Balancing these competing pressures creates a high-stakes negotiation environment where both sides risk losing more than just money. Adam Peters finds himself in a precarious position. On one hand, he cannot afford the fallout from a full-blown contract dispute that sidelines a star player as the season approaches. On the other hand, he is responsible for maintaining the team's financial health and integrity, refusing to be coerced into a deal that could disrupt the organization's future plans. This delicate balancing act leaves little room for error, and any misstep could have far-reaching consequences. The fan base is watching anxiously, fearing that this standoff may not only damage team chemistry but also set a precedent that could complicate future negotiations with other key players. It's a complex situation where the stakes are as much about trust and respect as they are about dollars and cents. Not many expected the contract saga to spiral into such a high-profile conflict. Terry McLaurin has long been beloved in Washington for his loyalty and on-field excellence, and the narrative until now was one of mutual respect and appreciation. His emergence as a franchise cornerstone has been a bright spot amid the team's recent ups and downs, making this breakdown in relations all the more disappointing. Despite the tension, a new deal still seems the most likely resolution. However, the prolonged nature of this dispute has already begun to cloud the team's preparation and focus, threatening to undermine what should be a positive momentum heading into the season. For fans and analysts alike, the hope is that cooler heads prevail and both sides find a way to bridge the gap. Reports that McLaurin was weighing all his options and ready to escalate the situation have heightened concerns that this impasse could worsen before it improves. Peters, meanwhile, appears to be maintaining professionalism, avoiding public confrontations and sticking to a measured approach. But the window for a peaceful resolution is closing rapidly, and the relationship between player and management is clearly strained. If tensions continue to rise, it may impact not only McLaurin's individual performance, but also the broader team dynamics, including locker room morale and on-field communication. The Commanders' ability to field a cohesive, motivated team could hinge on the outcome of these negotiations, making this a critical juncture for the franchise. The stakes couldn't be higher for the Washington Commanders. The franchise is in the midst of a renaissance, and Terry McLaurin is undeniably the beating heart of this revival. His talent, work ethic, and leadership embody everything positive about the team's identity and ambitions, losing or sidelining McLaurin during this pivotal phase would represent a catastrophic blow to their playoff aspiration. The lack of progress in contract talks thus far is not just a financial dispute, it's a potential organizational failure that risks undoing years of hard work and fan goodwill. The team's success depends on both parties finding common ground quickly, before the situation devolves further and damages the season before it even begins. The tension between McLaurin and the Commanders has dragged on for far too long, with each passing day increasing the potential for a full-blown crisis. Urgency is required from both sides to halt the downward spiral. McLaurin's stance, though bold, reflects a desire for fair compensation and recognition after years of dedication and production. The Commanders must respond with a willingness to meet his demands halfway, balancing fiscal responsibility with the undeniable value he brings to the team. Without a swift and equitable resolution, this standoff risks becoming a defining narrative for the franchise's 2025 campaign, one that could overshadow on-field achievements and sour the relationship with a player many consider irreplaceable. As training camp progresses, all eyes will be on whether Terry McLaurin returns to the field and how the Commanders manage this precarious contract drama. Fans remain hopeful that the negotiations will conclude with a new agreement that satisfies both sides, allowing the team to focus on football rather than headlines. The season's success depends heavily on McLaurin's availability and performance, making his contract situation a top priority for the front office. This standoff is a vivid reminder of the delicate balance teams must maintain between player satisfaction and financial constraints, and it serves as a crucial test of leadership for Peters and the entire Commanders organization. The coming days will be decisive for both McLaurin's career and Washington's playoff dreams. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The NFL world is buzzing with what might be one of the most surprising trade rumors of the season. Chase Young could be making a dramatic return to Washington, this time donning the Commanders' uniform once again. Sources close to the situation are hinting at a lightning-fast trade deal that would bring the former star pass rusher back to the team where he first made his mark. It's still early days, and nothing is confirmed, but the whispers are getting louder. Fans and analysts alike are speculating on what such a move would mean, not only for the Commanders' defense, but also for Young's career trajectory, which has been a roller coaster ride since his entry into the league. Could this sudden swap be the shot in the arm both Young and Washington need? The pieces seem to be falling into place for a blockbuster trade that could shake up the league in a big way. Rumors are swirling that this potential trade could happen quickly, almost overnight, catching many off guard. The term lightning trade keeps popping up in conversations among insiders, suggesting that Washington and the other team involved are moving fast to finalize the deal. Chase Young's time away from Washington has been marked by ups and downs, including injuries and inconsistent play, but the Commanders appear willing to take a gamble on his talent once again. This potential reunion carries a lot of emotional weight for fans who remember his explosive rookie season and the hope he inspired. If the trade goes through, it would signify a renewed commitment to rebuilding the defensive line and reigniting the fiery passion of a player who was once a franchise cornerstone. The NFL community is on alert, anticipating official news that could drop any moment. What's fueling the speculation even more is the context around the Commanders' current roster and performance. Washington's defense has shown flashes of brilliance, but also struggled with depth and consistency, particularly in pressuring quarterbacks. Bringing back Chase Young could be a strategic move to address these gaps, giving the team a familiar and proven edge. The idea of Young returning home adds a compelling storyline to this trade rumor. There's talk that the front office believes Young's familiarity with the system and the city could accelerate his comeback and boost team morale. Meanwhile, other teams are reportedly interested in Young's talents, which makes the prospect of him returning to Washington even more intriguing, as it suggests the Commanders are ready to outbid rivals and secure a major piece for their defense. Chase Young himself remains a central figure in the chatter, though he has stayed tight-lipped publicly about any trade discussions. Those close to the player hint that he is motivated to prove himself and excited about the possibility of a fresh start in Washington. This potential move could be a pivotal moment in his career, giving him the platform to silence doubters and return to the form that made him a top draft pick. The relationship between Young and the Commanders' coaching staff is also under the microscope, with rumors suggesting there might be a strong mutual desire to reunite and rebuild. The timing couldn't be more dramatic. As trade deadlines approach, teams are jockeying for position, and this could be the perfect window for Washington to make a bold statement. By bringing back their former star, from a tactical perspective, the Commanders could benefit immensely if this deal materializes. Young's pass-rushing skills, when at full strength, are among the best in the league, and his return could dramatically shift the balance on defense. Analysts are speculating on how the coaching staff might reintegrate him into the lineup and what changes might be necessary to maximize his impact. There's also a buzz about how his presence could inspire younger players and inject new energy into a defense that has struggled at times this season. Of course, the success of this reunion hinges on Young's health and commitment, which remain key concerns still. The prospect of a rapid trade back to Washington has ignited hopes that this storyline could rewrite the Commanders' defensive fortunes. The mystery deepens when considering what the Commanders might have to give up to land Chase Young in this swift deal. Rumors suggest the team could be parting with valuable draft picks or a promising young player, indicating they are all in on bringing him back. This kind of quick turnaround trade always involves complex negotiations behind the scenes, with agents, team executives, and coaches weighing every angle. The urgency implied by the Trade Relampago Lightning trade label suggests that all parties are eager to avoid prolonged negotiations and reach a quick agreement. Fans and commentators are already speculating about who might be the price paid to reunite Young with Washington and how that could impact the team's future roster moves. The high stakes involved only add fuel to the rumor mill. Social media has been exploding with fan reactions, with many Washington supporters expressing excitement over the possibility of seeing Chase Young back in their colors. Hashtags and fan accounts have started to trend, sharing highlight reels and past memorable plays, as if to remind everyone why Young was such a prized asset. Yet, there's also caution among some fans who remember the injuries and inconsistency, wondering if this reunion might be more sentimental than strategic. The split opinions add to the charged atmosphere surrounding the rumor, creating a rich narrative full of hope, skepticism, and anticipation. As the story develops, the eyes of the NFL fandom are firmly fixed on Washington, waiting to see if this sudden reunion will become reality or fade away as just another trade rumor. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly watching closely, with some insiders hinting that the Commanders' move to bring back Young might trigger a series of other roster shifts league-wide. The potential domino effect could reshape defensive units and change the competitive landscape. The strategic implications go beyond Washington alone, as teams might reassess their own trade plans in light of this surprising development. It's a reminder of how interconnected and fast-moving NFL trades can be, especially when a high-profile player like Chase Young is involved. If the trade happens, it might not only revive Young's career, but also spark a wave of transactions that could define the rest of the season. The ripple effects of this possible trade are already being debated by pundits and insiders across the board. The timing of the rumored trade also raises questions about the Commanders' broader ambitions. This season, are they signaling a push to contend now by bringing back a former star? Or is this a move aimed at rebuilding around familiar pieces? The urgency implied by the lightning-fast trade talks suggests the front office is eager to make a splash. This could be seen as a message to the fan base and the league that Washington is not content to linger in mediocrity by betting on Chase Young's talent and potential resurgence. The Commanders might be aiming to change their trajectory dramatically. The decision to act swiftly, if true, speaks volumes about their confidence in Young's ability to deliver and the overall vision for the team's future. It's a narrative ripe for unfolding in dramatic fashion. As the rumor continues to swirl, all eyes are now on the upcoming days for confirmation or denial. The NFL community, from reporters to fans, is bracing for the official announcement that could either send shockwaves through the league or leave everyone wondering what might have been. The potential return of Chase Young to Washington in a rapid, unexpected trade deal is one of those stories that captures the imagination of football lovers everywhere. It's a tale of second chances, calculated risks, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. Whether this lightning trade happens or not, the conversation around Young and the Commanders has already been electrified, promising an exciting next chapter in this unfolding saga. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.